Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Sarah Katule. Today, I think I'm sitting in for one Eric Omondi. We want to say thank you to Eric Omondi for helping us to initiate this initiative of creating thyroid awareness on this, our new channel called Health Talk Desk. And we are here at Miale Lodge here in Amboseli in Lavington, and today we have a very exciting story for you. We have a caregiver. We had the first video where one of our own, Alan, shared his story on thyroid disease, how he has been able to battle thyroid disease. And today we have a caregiver, his dear wife, Lydia, and Lydia is going to be talking to us about their journey with thyroid disease, how it has been ever since they were diagnosed. So we want to say thank you for those that have subscribed. We still urge you to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so that you can be able to continue getting messages. To just go through some of the comments that you have given us. Here we have Lydia Kakush World 7653 is saying thyroid awareness journey is an emotional and scary little known disease. Thank you very much, Lydia. We have Boys Gang Talk Show 3677. He says this story is interesting and scary at the same time. God will cause us to overcome. I guess that is a thyroid champion. Thank you very much. We also have another one called Chelly Online TV, Chelsea, Michigan. He says it's very educative. And then we also have another champion called Fidelia Kitolo 6867. She says, may God help thyroid champions to get angelic intervention in a doctor like after a long, frustrating journey. Thank you very much for your comment. We continue urging you to keep subscribing and keep giving us the comment. Thank you very much. Lydia, thank you so much for joining us today. I want you to tell me about your story with as a caregiver to one of our own. We call him a thyroid champion who has shared his story. He's really helped a lot of men come out and break the stigma of thyroid disease being a woman's disease. So tell me about how you started with thyroid disease, Alan.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, for the welcome. I'm honored here to share and to shed some light. First, I would say being a caregiver, it's an emotion, and it needs a lot of God grace for you to take care of someone you love, and yet you conceal your feelings. There are two things. You conceal your feelings because at the end of the day, this is someone you love, and you don't want to show him that you are also heartbroken by the fact that you've seen him helpless. Our journey started back in 2019. 2019 April, somewhere there. That's the time he started being sick, and he started with bloating of the stomach. We sought for medication, different hospitals in Nairobi, and the only thing we would get is viral infection. Every now and then, viral infection.
The diagnosis.
Yes, viral infection. Yes, tulikuwa tunaambiwa ni viral infection, nothing much. Even some medicine, he didn't take them because you're given a pack. A pack. Ukifika nyumbani, you're like, am I going to take all these medicine? And yet, there's nothing tangible that the doctor has told you this is what you're suffering from, and you're still acting. First, the most recurrent was the bloating of the stomach, and in the morning, as at that time I tried to Google what can heal that bloating of stomach, and the first thing I came across was the thorn melon. So what I used to do there was I went to the market, Kikuyu market. I got I make sure every week I get the stock for thorn melon for a whole week, that can last a whole week, and celery. So in the morning, I made sure I blend the thorn melon and the celery. I blend like a juice. It takes in the morning, so that at least during the day the stomach doesn't bloat. And then I made sure in our car there's a thorn melon ready for him to take. I wash it. I make sure I wash it and I keep it in the car so that you can take it. So it took from 2019. The whole of 2019, we didn't know what he was suffering from.
Lakini anakunywa thorn melon too?
Yeah, on and off. You see how it's very uncomfortable with bloating of stomach because you can't take anything and you don't know what he's suffering from. We just, when you go to hospital, that was the only way you can looking for a temporary solution. Ukienda ukigoogle, kwanza Google, you just Google and see what he's suffering from. We were not able to know what he was suffering from. So 2019 ended, then it came 2020. There was still the same problem. I remember in 2020 there's a day we visited an oncologist in South B. He went to take some tests for prostate cancer because I think the kind of pain he was feeling, we thought is prostate cancer. So we went, we did the screening, the results were out, there was no prostate cancer. And then we're asking ourselves, what might be the problem? You see, when he's acting, I'm also acting. And now the 2019, now it came with a lot of other side effects. Like, for example, he's sitting and the heart rate, the palpitation for the heart, even if you put your hand like this in the chest, unasikia roho inagonga. And then you're like, and he's sitting down. So in 2020, it was also another journey, visiting hospitals and everything. But when it came to December
of
2020, that is now, that's the time ilikuwa so serious. Because in December 2020, there's a time he came home and he told me, I'm feeling sick. I don't know what is happening with my body. I can't tell what I'm suffering from, but I need to take a break from work. So he took an off for 2 weeks, because when he went to the hospital there was nothing. And then in 2020, towards the end of December, there was some frequency in terms of running stomach. In a month, twice. When he goes to the hospital, viral infection, nothing. They would take the test for stool, nothing, no amoeba, no nothing. So he just given medicine for viral infection, comes home, he takes and the probiotic. At some point alikuwa amepewa some probiotic to take. So, and sometimes we would sleep, I wake up in the middle of the night, I find him seated down. I ask him what's the problem. It tells me he's sweating, palpitations. You see, you can't sleep. And you see, when I wake up and find him seated, I'll also sit down, and tomorrow I'm going to work.
You're going to work, yes.
So in that time, towards December 2020, we were to go for an holiday, which we didn't go. Even we didn't travel, we were just in Nairobi. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't go to Shags, we didn't go anywhere. We were just in Nairobi because those 2 weeks, it was at home and I was going to work. So in the morning I wake up, I leave at home, amelala. In the evening nikikuja namuuliza nini, ananiambia bado nimechoka. Namuuliza kwani uliamka ukaenda kufanya kazi? Ananiambia hapana, I was just here resting.
Ako tu anasikia amechoka.
Ako tu na amechoka. Amechoka. You see, then unajiuliza what kind of sickness is this? But being that we've been in marriage for a while, for more than 5 years, that time in 2020, I knew him. He's not a lazy person. So I was wondering what has come over. Just all of a sudden, is getting tired. Is something that you can't explain. So that December we were just around in Nairobi, and then after Christmas, I think it was after Christmas, when I was going back to work, I think it was 28th of 2020, if I'm not wrong. That morning, I had seen that he had started giving up, because you would tell when he sits down, a lot of thoughts. Unaona anafikiria, and then you ask him, unafikiria nini? And you see, men have a way of hiding their feelings, because the kids want to play with him, the kids wants to see him jovial and then he's trying yet the body mwili inakataa. Yes, mwili inakataa. Then I told him, can you take a second chance? Can you go to the hospital again? You go sit down with the doctor and at least umwelezee what you feeling so that at least tuseme tulijaribu. Twende, because that time it was serious. It was very serious. He was losing weight. I remember he lost so many kgs until we had, I think that period ya Christmas, we went to town tukatafuta new clothes za kuvaa because at the rate yenye alikuwa ana lose weight, even you start get worried. And then sometimes there was the tremors. Anaweza kuwa ameketi chini and then the leg starts shaking. So I went to work, he went to the hospital, he went explained to the doc how he's feeling, and the doc akamwambia, him himself, he told me he went to the hospital na akamwambia daktari, leo sitoki hapa kama hujaniambia what I'm suffering from. Because at this point hata ukiangalia, because the hospital alienda, we've been going there severally, so walikuwa na records, they had the records for previous tests zenye alikuwa amefanya. So the doctor went through the test na akamwambia sasa nieleza chenye unasikia, akamueleza, and then akamwambia there's something you're going to do, there's a test you're going to do, it's called thyroid function, and if that test comes negative then I don't know what you're suffering from, but akamwambia ni sawa. But he did other tests, including that thyroid test. So akafanya the test. Then I remember it was in the evening, he called me. I was in the office because nilikuwa nimejaribu kumpigia. By the way, I had tried calling him. Simu yake hakuwa anashika. Until I called the brother, nikamwambia nilipeleka so and so hospitali na he's not picking my calls, I don't know what is happening, can you check up on him? But before afika hospitali he had called me. Akaniambia nilikuwa nimelala kwa gari after nilipochukua the nurses took the samples na nikaenda kurest kwa gari. You see, that is part of the side effects.
Disease,
yes. So he calls me aniambia, I remember I was in the office, akanipigia akaniambia nimeambiwa niko na thyroid. Nikamuuliza thyroid, what is thyroid? Niko na hyperthyroid. Nikamuuliza thyroid, nikamuuliza hiyo ni ugonjwa inaitwa hivyo? You see, even me, I was in disbelief. But at least I was happy because at least we've known what is. You see, treating something that you don't know, it's very it's very traumatizing. So at least ameambiwa imejulikana ni nini amengojeka. Now the next phase ni kujua, is it treatable? Because I remember nimuuliza, is it treatable? Akaniambia the other nini, aliponiambia kuna hyperthyroid, nikamuuliza what is that? Akaniambia nimeambiwa niko na hyperthyroid na to make the matter worse ni grave disease. Nilikuwa kwa ofisi, nilienda tu hivi nikaenda nikaketi kwa meeting room nikaanza kulia. Because to me the first thing nilimuuliza grave ya kaburi. Akaniambia nikajiuliza sasa hii ni nini? The first thing kwanza nilianza kulia. I remember my colleague akikuja apate ninalia, akaniuliza nini, nikamwambia my hubby is sick na ameambiwa 1 2 3, akaniambia let's pray. We prayed, then I got the current. Unajua pia I didn't want to show him that I'm down. Though sometimes it drains you as a caregiver because sometimes during that journey, after we discovered that akona thyroid, and it was over the Christmas season, alipewa tu kabimazo za kushikilia until aende sasa akaone specialist. Na specialist alikuwa anakuja after a while, after now the festive season is it's over, ndio aenda akamwone. So we booked an appointment with the specialist, and then we went because I was interested to know. At least I be part of the journey so that I can understand the do's and don'ts, what to eat and not to eat. So it came, I think it was in Feb. We went, we saw the doctor. Tulipoingia akafunga mlango, and then we sat down. The first thing you see when you have the first question tulikuwa nazo in mind, what is thyroid? What makes, kwanza swali alimuuliza, why me? Is it genetic? Is it something you acquire? Because I was not born with it. Imekuja kunishika and I'm a grown up. Yes. Akakaa chini. I remember she had a paper. Akachora akitutorea now how thyroid functions and what is the use of thyroid in your body and how when it is hyper it affects all your body functions because thyroid sends signals to the pituitary gland and controls all the hormones of your body and him yake ilikuwa hyper kwa hivyo iko juu it's producing more hormones than it's supposed to do. So akatuelezea and then akatuambia now the treatments that akatupia 3 options. One of them was to take medicine na akatuambia the medicine you can only take for 2 years. The other one was I think radioiodine and the third one was surgery. But at that moment the one that we would agree to because the other two it's a process was to take medicine. So she gave us the medicine that he was taking twice in a day and there were a lot of medicine and because of the results the critical nature of the results that came out that day when he did the test, he was going for clinics twice in a month. And let me tell you, there's nothing draining like going to the hospital every month and treating specifically thyroid. It's very expensive because you have to, there's a consultation fee. It's expensive because you're seeing a specialist. And then there's the medicine themselves. They are very expensive. And the doctor was kind enough even to tell us so that we can reduce the effects of the medicine to his liver, kidney, the body function, the main body functions, we need to take supplements. And the supplements, the insurance doesn't cater for them. So you have to dig in to your pocket to buy them. So it's a journey that took us 2 years, 2020, 2021. During that period, it was a very emotional journey because there's diet. There are some things that he can't take. He can't take red meat. Red meat. There's so many things that he can't take, and then he needs to eat to take the fermented like porridge. The fermented because they are good for the gut. So for people to understand, one thing that I came to realize is for men are different from us ladies because us ladies umeambiwa na daktari kunywa dawa hivi chances sisi kusahau ni ngumu sana. Even right now when every handbag I have lazima ikuwe na dawa yake. Na lazima nikifika like we going to town in the morning, we are going to work, nikifika naweza fika nimuulize umekunywa dawa? Hapana, chukua niyo. I have to carry medicine and
everywhere, scattered everywhere.
Scattered in my in my handbags because I have to be there to support him. And then now I have to change. Though we have the kids, but I made sure diet ya watoto ijafectiwa na hii yake. So the kids will just take the normal diet because they need all these things for them to grow. But him, I had even myself to change my diet to accommodate him. So what he's eating is what I'm eating. And now even lifestyle, you have to change everything. Even reach a point because people will never understand. Let me tell you, the person living with a sick person, the caregiver is the one who understands what happens behind the scenes. It's very emotional because I would see him when it's just there. He can't do anything. And I have to be strong for him. Sometimes, I don't know, hata saa hizi ndio atajua. Sometimes I take my therapy, ni kwenda niingie kwa shower na nisimame tu hapo. Maji nimwagikie. So that I can clear my mind. Kaa nikulia nitalia nikiwa hapo. And then nikitoka I'm strong.
That was going to be my next question. How, because I believe you cannot give what you don't have. you must take care of yourself first.
Yes.
So I actually wanted to ask, how do you take care of yourself so that you can be the support system that you know he needs, but also be a mother and a career woman? How has that been, and so that you can be able to create this conducive, all-rounded, balanced environment for him to thrive? Do you feel like you are, I don't know, giving it too much? Is it taking away from you? And if it is, how are you able to replenish to make yourself be who you are right now? Because I look at you and I see a very strong woman.
One thing that made me to sail through that period is because I made sure I attended the clinics.
With him?
With him.
Very important. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is the first thing. Because when I attended the clinic, the doctor was able to tell me the side effects for this, for the hyperthyroid condition that I had. I was able to understand. So the anchor, kukasirika, kuchoka. So if I didn't attend the clinics, I wouldn't understand it. First is myself. The first thing
educate
that assisting is to educate myself.
Yes.
And I became his champion. Anything to do with thyroid online, mimi ndio nilikuwa number 1.
Yes.
#thyroid awareness.
Yes.
Kumtumia nikiona someone has YouTube became my friend, Google became my friend. So I would go search what is supposed to eat, what is not supposed to eat. I'm the one who knew what is supposed to eat, what is not supposed to eat. Mimi ndo namwambia you're not supposed to eat this, you're not supposed to eat. So that at least me personally, I had to accept he's sick. That was the first one. I had to accept he's sick.
Yes.
So that at least nijiweke kwa hiyo condition yake. So that at least I can have peace of mind. I had to accept first he's sick.
Yes.
And I had to accept hii ni mimi na yeye. Hakuna mtu mwingine. Because even if I try to explain to someone alikuwa amenijua last year, this year is totally a different person.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I had to accept that I'm a career woman. I have kids, I have a family, and I'm a wife. And I needed to balance both of them. And one thing I tried to cut anything that yenye ilikuwa inafanya that was taking away my peace. Yes. And another thing is during this period, you remember you have a specific diet you're eating. Vitu zozote ziko acidity ziweke kando. Garlic nini hizo vitu kuna citric acid weka kando. Anything that canned food weka kando. So mimi mwenyewe ndio nilikuwa champion wa we rarely go for, you see the way you are very excited when you hear there's an event.
Yes.
Knowing that I have him and he's sick and you're going for an event, I have mentally to prepare myself because I'm going to carry cooked food for him. So sometimes nilisema ni mimi Lydia niko hapa, ni mimi niko na yeye, ni mimi namuelewa. So what am I going to do? If an event is not important, siendi.
Hata yeye endi.
Yeah, hata yeye endi. And that is period. Either you understand me or you don't understand me. Because those are some of the things that I had to change so that at least I can create a balance between being a mother, being a career woman, being a wife, and and being a caregiver to him. That is one thing. And then I try to cut even some things you have to do away with. They are friends. Ukiona huyu rafiki yako hivi anakwambia unakata tu. Yes, even family members. Family members will not understand you. Why you're not doing this, why you're not doing this. You're the one who will understand that. So those are the things that kept me insane. And another thing, he supported me and I tried to understand him no matter what. Hata kama nimesikia nimekasirika, I would rather walk away. But one thing I'll say, God gave us a lot of grace and gave him a lot of grace because sometimes I even nilikuwa naingia tu kwa nyumba naenda my biggest therapy even up to today ni kufika kwa nyumba, I go just naingia tu shower na hata kama siogi nafungulia tu maji imwagike, I just stand there. That is the biggest therapy to me.
Yes.
And then trying to kuingia online ni research about the sickness. So 2021 when we knew that he's sick, now we started the clinics. You see, yeah, I'm a career woman. Naenda kwa office, I need to be happy. So sometimes you put a face, you know what, umetoka home, you feeling is in you're not happy.
Yeah.
Ukienda kwa office, you have to put that other face, because now you're meeting clients. Personally, I'm customer facing, so
you have to be
lazima ni smile.
Yeah.
At all costs. I think God gave me the grace.
The grace, yes.
The grace to just be happy. The grace to carry the burden on His behalf. And another thing I normally say that took me through that journey, it's being prayerful. And Pia, when you have people who are supporting you, you will always carry through. Like personally, my mom is so prayerful, and my dad, and they would call me morning, in the evening, trying to encourage me on how to take care of him, and trying to pray for me. Wananiambia nakuombea, I know you need more grace. God is going to give you grace to carry through. Even going to the hospital twice in a month, you see, lazima ufike kwa ofisi na uombe ruhusa ndio uende hospitali, because he's not admitted. You not say ninachukua sick off. Yes, and then you have to meet, if it's work, you have to meet the KPIs and everything that you've been given. Yes, that is not an excuse.
It's not easy.
Yes, it's not an excuse. So I can say most of the clinics I went with him, we see the levels, because with hyperthyroid, one thing I came to learn about it is because the results will always be different.
Yeah.
When you go, because you're going the start of the month, we can go mid-month and the end of the month. Mid-month and end of the month. So you find, kuna ile utaenda uambiwe reduce the dose. Kuna ile utaambiwa increase the dose. It went like that. But at some point, he lost it. Ilifika mahali aka give up on the medicine. I remember there's a time he didn't tell me, but I noticed. Akaacha kukunywa tu dawa na hakuniambia. At that point alikuwa amechoka na madawa. And then one thing, hakuna kitu alikuwa ameogopa kama surgery. And that was the next option. So in 2021, there's a time aliacha. And that time, we were trying, acha nikwambie, kuna kitu thyroid ijanionyesha. There's a time we sought for the herbal medicine. Tukaenda, tukaanza kutafuta. Now you start now googling what to eat, not to eat. Hizo nini. Although zilimsaidia, it took them for 2 months and we kept quiet. Even we didn't tell anyone. Tukatafuta madawa akakunywa, but it didn't work out because the thyroid levels were very high after those 2 months. Then we went back now to take medicine. So in 2021, continued like that. It was emotional because when he gets home, like my daughter is so close to him. And you remember that time was time ya COVID. Tena tumeenda COVID ni sasa imeshika kabisa, tumeenda hospitali, daktari amemwambia you need to be very careful. Usishikwe na COVID with your situation because of the art.
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember it was in 2021 in April. There's a time kulikuanga na shutdown. Mashule zikafungwa because the COVID nini zilikuwa zimespike. Ilikuwa shule imefungwa. That time, at least that time I was working, I think one week, then I work from home another week. Mimi at least mimi hatukupewa that grace ya work from home throughout. So we had 2 teams. Hii team inakuja hii week, hii team nyingine inakuja the other week. So si ameambiwa na daktari be careful, hakuna kushikwa na COVID. Siku moja anapigiwa na the boss akamwambia there's something I want you to sign in the office. He was very careful. Kama kuna mtu alikuwa careful about COVID and the measures and to make sure that hajapatwa na COVID ni yeye. Si akaniambia naenda kwa office, there's something I'm supposed to sign. Akaenda kwa office akasign and then he went home. So the following day ananipigia simu. Nimeenda that week nilikuwa nimeenda job, ananiambia nataka kwenda kupima COVID. Nikamwambia naenda kupima COVID kwa nini? Ananiambia my boss ameniambia kuna COVID na jana tulikutana and we shared a pen. Kamwambia sawa enda.
They shared a pen.
A pen.
Kalamu kama hii.
Aliambiwa sign kitu, yeye akatoa kalamu yake alikuwa amebeba akasign. And when he signed, the boss didn't have a pen. Akampea kalamu yake akasign na akachukua akaweka kwa mfuko. Then went on. So akaenda akapimwa. Akanitumia message. Niko na COVID. Let me tell you, those were the worst news because I knew his situation. Hata nikauliza why God? Singekuwa tu ni mimi imenishika. Why him? At that time it was scary because at least at that time nilikuwa najua I can count up to more than 10 people wamekufa sababu ya COVID.
Number 2 is not taking
si ile time ulikuwa unasikia that imehappen kwa mtu fulani unaona kwa social media close relatives COVID has taken them away. So the following day I took my kids, I took my house manager tukaenda tukapimwa, but apparently the house manager high and my son hatukuwa na COVID, but him and the daughter walikuwa na COVID. But it was tough because I remember the kind of headache alikuwa nayo. I remember nikitoka nao kupimwa that day, alinipigia simu akaniambia enda tu pharmacy uende uambie you want the strongest painkiller. Somewhere in Kilimani nilienda nikasimama nikaingia kwa pharmacy nikawaambia I want the strongest painkiller that you can ever have. Wakanipea the painkiller nikamnunulia. I remember I spent I think 2,000 kwa hiyo painkiller. Nikampelekea. And then nilikuwa naona nafikiria sana nikamwambia ni nini unafikiria? You'll be okay. Akaniambia the kind of pain na feel headache. Na feel. I'm just wondering the same headache ndio msichana wangu atasikia. Will she even make it? Don't worry. She will sail through. And I had called the doc nikamuuliza the pediatrician nikamuuliza what happens if a kid, and that time my daughter was breastfeeding. So alikuwa mdogo, so there's no way ningesema kwa amefikisha 2 years. There's no way ningesema I'm not breastfeed. But later, the same week later towards the end of the week my daughter akapatwa na fevers, so I took her to the hospital. There was no other ways, and the kind of stigma nilipata, that's a story of another day. Because you just reach at there was a desk yenye ulikuwa na record. There's a form ulikuwa na fill ukitik the symptoms, ukitik kama hizo symptoms. Mimi nikatik nikasema kuna COVID. Daktari wote walikimbia. Nikabaki hapo, and then the nurse wote aliniuliza, all the nurses walikuwa hapo walikimbia wakaniuliza na mbona ni wewe umemleta na una COVID? Nikamuuliza alikuwa letwa na nani? And the mother.
Yes.
And the father has COVID.
Yeah.
That's a story for another day anyway. So we sailed through after
was he taking medication during that time?
Yes, he was taking medication. Okay. He was taking the medication, the Kabimaso, and he was taking the propanol for the heart rate. So we sailed through 2021, and then comes 2022. It's here, and the doc tumefikisha we are nearing the 2 years, and there is no change. There's no change in terms of there's no tangible change in terms of the medications zenye amekunywa for the 2 years. And 2022 it was intense because he was taking a lot of medicine, a lot. Unaweka dawa hivi zinajaa kwa mkono. I think alikuwa amefika mahali anazikula tu kama chakula.
Hivi zinajaa mkono hivi.
Zinajaa mkono hivi. Kama njugu nakula kama chakula. One thing I really thank God for, it's because one thing I would even tell our viewers when you wanatuangalia, it's emotional, and thyroid patients are misunderstood.
Yes.
There's so many things goes to thyroid patients, because if your immediate boss will not understand you have thyroid, atakufuta kazi. You'll be branded lazy.
Yes.
You'll be branded someone who doesn't know what you want. And another thing that I didn't mention, with hyperthyroid, the rate of digestion ya food, it's very high. So you take up to 4 meals or 5 meals in a day.
So alikuwa anabeba chakula, anakula 4 meals a day.
4 meals a day. 4 meals a day, and that is why
and was he working at that time?
Yes, he was working.
He was working.
Yes, he was working. He was working, and that is why I made sure that he carries the meals from home, because nowadays who cooks food without garlic, ginger, just not even easy the other spices, because personally I don't use those other spices. Mostly they are just the natural spices. So I had to make sure that he carries the meals from home, so that I know what he's eating, so that we can monitor the situation. So, and another thing, let me just go back. I mentioned about making sure that he takes his medicine. You see, one of the things that I've not mentioned, there's the hyperthyroid tends to come up with memory loss. So you would forget. Hata umwambie, you see the way you like you send him something. Let's for example he's going to town, namwambia buy 1 2 3. So hiyo time ya kubai lazima nimpigie simu. Unatoka job saa ngapi? Nimpigie nimwambie make sure umepita supermarket. Na ukifika supermarket nipigie. So that I can tell you I remind you what to buy. Nilikuwa nimemwambia, ama I just tell him nitakutengenezea list nikutumia kwa WhatsApp. Ukifika tu confirm uende ukipika. You see, those are things, if you are in a formal employment, few of your employers will understand that. Few of your bosses will understand that. And me as a caregiver, kama singeenda through the side effects, there's no way I could be able to take care of him. Yes, I would give up. I would easily give up. But one thing I told God, give me the grace to sail through this, because unaambianga God cannot give you what you can't handle.
That's true.
And one thing I appreciate is accepting and telling God, now you've given me this. Now you know very well I can handle it. Give me the grace to handle it. Yes.
So one thing you've mentioned that is very important was that you chose to accept the situation.
Yes.
You chose to accept where you were, that you had a sick husband. Do you think your husband accepted that he was sick?
Okay. In the beginning, after we realized that he had hyperthyroid, he was happy at least tumejua ni nini.
Yes.
But now the journey, it took time for him to accept.
Okay.
Yes. Because let me tell you, na si ati alikuwa in 20s. I won't mention the age, but alikuwa in 30s. So you can imagine one day waking up unaambiwa usikule hii.
Ndio umekuwa kula before.
Umekuwa kula throughout. Because hizi kitu ulizaliwa nayo. Umekuwa kula. Even me, I will it will take time for me to accept. And then hii unaambiwa hivyo, you have a family. Yes. So for me, and we have the kids, hakuna venye tutanyima watoto hizi chakula ameambiwa asikule. So it comes in with cost, it comes in with changing diet, and knowing that I'm changing diet, but I'll not change diet for the kids, for the whole family.
So it also was costly.
Yes, and it took me nikue at least I be in his shoes. Ile chakula nakula ndio nakula. No matter how iko, tutakula ikiwa hivyo. I would serve that food na nakula, and it became my lifestyle.
Aone ukikula.
Yes, nakula na yeye.
So at least anaona he has that support system that was helping him not to give up.
Let me tell you, it takes some sacrifice, because I put myself in the same shoes. Nikasema, what if it was me? What if it was me? And then there's a lot, even the reproductive system, because I remember the first clinic that we went, the doctor alimuuliza, the first question the doctor alimuuliza, uko na watoto? Akamwambia shukuru Mungu. If you have kids, then thank God. And then later when I did my research, ndio nilikuja kujua there are so many things there's a lot of diagnosis that happens in Kenya, and I'm sorry to say that because I've experienced it. And there's also a lot of negligence apart from the people who are living with the people who are sick. It's because you find someone apati watoto. Maybe umeenda umeambiwa you can't get kids. Nobody will tell you why. Because from the little research that I've done in the developed countries, thyroid function is supposed to be done to every patient mwenye ameingia hospitali. But in Kenya it's not done. That is one thing. That's a lapse. And then if that is not done, so you find someone needs, you can imagine hata wewe mwenyewe huwezi sema ni nini. Your heart rate is very high. Unasahau. You're ever tired. Who will work with that kind of a person? Even in a family setup, you will be branded so many things. And thyroid affects even kids. That is one thing I came to realize. So as a parent, you need to understand the reason why we, at least this discussion, I feel happy because of this discussion, because we've been shouting about it. After now, though we started shouting about it when now we did the operation, but through even sharing the story on WhatsApp, and I've got so many people opening up to me, and then they realize, oh, my husband has been behaving like this. Inaweza kuwa ni thyroid. Like I have a friend of mine, I'll not mention her name, in Mombasa. Through me, they were able to know what was affecting the husband. They were newly married. Now you can imagine, umeolewa, and then mtu anashinda kwa nyumba akilala. Ujui ni nini? Mine was better. At least we had stayed for more than 5 years.
Where he was working.
Yes, where he was working, and it was okay. It was very okay. So I would, at least mimi niliona a change in him, that I knew it's not him. There has to be something. That way umekuja umeolewa, pap, then this happens. Hata mwenyewe utasema hapana. Labda alikuwa anajifanya no, nimeona the true colors.
Exactly.
That will be the mind of someone. So just to pick it up from where I was in 2021, it was so heavy on us. And then one thing I would want to mention is on the medication. Medication for thyroid, they are very expensive. Let me give you an example. Since 2020 we started this journey. All along, he has an insurance card and I have an insurance card. What did we do? Every time when the insurance is being renewed, we made sure that tumeboost yangu, so that we can get a bigger outpatient limit na yake. And I made sure atujaguza yake. Yake ni yake. Yangu ni yangu na watoto.
You are such a blessing.
Yangu ni yangu na watoto. And hakuna mwaka mimi sijai deplete. Hatujai deplete the cover. No matter how big how huge the limit tuko nayo outpatient, hakuna mwaka yenye hatuja past the limit, and we go back to our pockets. Because roughly kupima thyroid functions hizo zote, na maybe unafanywa, let's say a visit haita cost less than 10,000. And then you have the medicines. Zingine utaenda upate kwa now the hospital you are hawana, so you need to go to sort them outside. Unaenda kitambo ungoje approval insurance, you find yourself umeingia kwa pocket ukanunua. So it's very draining. All along tumekuwa tu, every year we have a budget ya kuboost, na tuko na emergency kiti mahali tumeweka. We've agreed, let's put this one for medical, because even the kids, at that time my daughter amezaliwa 2019, so at that time alikuwa mdogo, and you see at that age between 0 to 5 years, you can be very sure one way or another huyo mtoto kuna clinics, kuna nini, so it's a lot to take. But I thank God because He gave us the grace.
Yes.
He gave us the grace to sail through no matter what. At some point tunaweza amka tukasema na unaenda clinic, tutafanyaje? Insurance imeisha. Yes, and somehow God always provided for us to go and for the clinics and everything. So I would say that is another burden. The medical part of it, I don't know how people do it, but it's very,
very
expensive to
expensive.
take care of a thyroid patient. It needs a lot of understanding. It needs a lot of grace.
Yes.
That part of understanding, deal, it needs a lot of understanding.
Okay.
Yes.
Come to now, he has been taking medication. You mentioned about surgery. When did he go for surgery?
He went for surgery last year. That was 2022.
2022.
In June.
Yeah.
In June.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. It's a very interesting story. We went for a visit. Daktari akamwambia, now 2 years have elapsed. You need to decide on the alternative medication, on alternative solution. Ya dawa imekataa. And you can't be on those medication past 2 years because they'll damage your kidney, they'll damage your liver and everything, and then you come with other complications. But one thing I thank God, after daktari alipotuambia hivyo, he was not for surgery. That is one thing. He was not for surgery kabisa. Yes. But me, at least I had to encourage him, at least he goes for the surgery, but akakataa. So he wakes up one day and he tells me, unajua naenda surgery? Nikamuuliza, what has changed? Then he tells me, in the place where we live, one day akiongea tu na neighbor, a friend of his, alikuwa anatoka kwa gate wakakutana, a gentleman. So when they were talking, aliona a mark here. Akamuuliza ni nini? Akamwambia niko na thyroid. Niko na kitu inaitwa thyroid, nikafanywa test like sijui alimwambia 18 years or 20 years ago. Then wakapiga story, and then he was a gentleman. Now you can see the influence. Akamwelezea story how he went about it, na akamwambia okay right now after the surgery. I think then he told me that is where I got my courage to go for surgery. So when he decided to go for surgery, now we started seeing the surgeon. So we had to go for at least some, I don't know whether you call it counseling or a session, just to understand this surgery, what it entails, what is expected, what is the outcome, and the success stories. And I remember him asking the surgeon, what is the success rate? Akamwambia the success rate is good, but akamwambia the other thing, alimuuliza what are my chances getting out alive? Akamwambia, I remember he told him, alimuuliza do you cross the road? Akamwambia and you make it the other side? Yes, but there are some who cross the road and they don't make it the other side. That is how the surgery is.
Okay.
Yes. Then we booked for the surgery. After now, he had to take some tests, and because hormones zake zilikuwa zimekataa kubalance kabisa. The only thing I remember the surgeon akimwambia, we had a very nice surgeon, alimwambia, one thing I can never do is for you to go for that surgery if your hormones have not balanced. Alimwambia mimi sitaki kuwa muuaji. Alimwambia I'm not a murderer. Even to alimwambia like akamwambia that one will not happen. It will happen if your hormones balances, because if I take that knife and your hormones are not balanced, you will not come out of that surgery alive. Hiyo tu ndio kitu nilimwambia. It was very scary, but I thank God because
he took it well.
And then now akapewa steroids.
Okay.
Dawa zilikuwa kama chakula within that period before we went for surgery. So he took the medicines, and then even the morning before the surgery, he had to take the medicine. So the doctor told us the surgery will take, I don't know, 4 to 6 hours. And we were booked in for the surgery from 9 in the morning. So we came, I came for we went for the surgery. He was booked in, tukaenda kwa room that morning. He was admitted that morning. And I was still at work. I think I took a leave. Tukaingia for the surgery, akadressiwa up. I wheeled him to the surgery room. We prayed, and one thing I've not mentioned, I want to go back. My dad, thank God for him. When he was going for the surgery, because hata hima aliniuliza amekubali, nikamwambia amekubali kwenda surgery dad. One thing that I can support with, you with is prayers. Na akaniambia in the morning mkienda kuingia surgery mimi nitaingia kanisani. Ni muombe na nitatoka hiyo hospitali ukinipigia simu niambie ametoka. I thank God for him.
Oh my God, that is so sweet.
Just for him sacrificing to go to the church to pray for my husband during that period, I think, you see, let me tell you, as unaweza kuwa in a situation whereby you can't pray for yourself, but having someone who is praying for you constantly, it holds you up. Yeah, because as much as I was praying, at some time nilikuwa down. Especially that period ya kwenda for surgery, because tulielezwa all about that surgery, because there's a voice, there's so many things, kuna mishipa mingi hapa that alituambia lazima aiondoe yote ndio afikie that butterfly shape ya the thyroid. So my dad told me that nikapiga simu, he prayed for us before we went for the surgery, and then we wheeled him to the surgery. Tukaenda surgery room, akaingia. So from there mimi nikarudi kwa room. I went to the room, mimi nilienda kwa room, siwezi danganya, nilienda I said a prayer na nikalala kwa hiyo kitanda yake. And then our best couple joined us and a friend of ours. Tukakaa. Now the waiting part. Let me tell you, I've never been scared because it was 6 hours, but it took like 12 hours before he came out from the surgery. I remember me going up there kwa surgery room, nikabisha, nikamwambia, now I need you to tell me the truth. Nataka tu muniambie ukweli, because hii surgery ilikuwa ina take 4 to 6 hours. It's taken more than 12 hours. Ajatoka, and nobody was communicated. Unajua sasa, that's anxiety. You don't know. I remember nilirudi kwa room, nikalia mpaka nikalala. Because sasa ukienda, nobody is telling you ni nini is happening, nobody is updating you what is happening. Hata wewe mwenyewe ukipigiwa simu ametoka surgery, huwezi sema ndio ama nini, because ujui what is happening. As in that suspense, it's so bad.
Umerudi umelala kwa kitanda, Alan is in surgery.
Yes, nimerudi nimelala, and then I just chose to just wait. And I told God, the one thing, Lord, I'll ask from you today. Nile naongea na Mungu ni kama wewe, the way we are. Nikamwambia, the only one thing I want, that surgery to be successful. I want my husband back alive. That is the only request I'll ask you. Anything. At that point, hata sikuwa naomba sijui akuje akiongea, where the other things. I just want him alive. So nikaka, that was late in the evening, ndio sasa nikaona wakamwela akaingia. Me, the first thing alipoingia, the first thing I did is just to say thank you God, just to say a silent prayer. Thank you to God. And then nikamuita, akarespond. Then I said, anaongea. Those are the only things that I felt a certain peace of mind. Nikasema, now hata sitaki kujua surgery imetokaje, but as one thing I thank God ni amekuja back alive.
Na anaongea.
He's talking. Now at that point sikuwa najua now what next. But at that point I was happy. So nikatoka nje, then I wanted to inquire from the nurses that kama kuna kitu anaweza kula, whether we can give him something. Then the first question the nurse aliniuliza, anaongea? Nikamwambia yes, anaongea. And then wakashangilia. And then nikajiuliza, kwani hakuongea? Nikaibrush off. Ndio wakaniambia they will bring the menu, and the doctor will come and advise us what next. So nikakaa naye hospitali after late hours in the evening. Nilikuwa natoka kwa hospitali kitu saa 6
za usiku.
Then I drive home. Naenda naona watoto venye wameshinda, because I had taken a leave during that period. Taken a leave at least to be with him and at least to go through that period na yeye. So even hata kushinda hospital, the following day early in the morning after I dropped the kids in school, I came back to the hospital. Nikakaa na yeye the whole day. at least nikamtoa nje ndio asifikirie sana. You see, even being confined in a room, nasemanga an hospital is like a prison, because there's nothing much you can do apart from eating, taking medicine. There's nothing. Freedom yako.
And looking at the roof.
It's a prison. It's a prison. So and then I think he just stayed there for 2 days. At least alala 2 nights, and the other one tukatoka. Then tukaenda tukaona daktari, and then that part of thyroid that was taken off, I think it was 90 something %. Alituambia kutoa yote, walibakisha kidogo. That part was taken off. They had to go and do some test on it. At least they wanted to check to clear doubts isiku iko cancerous or something else, because that is one of the things that alituambia it's good to measure, so that you can know now what's the next action that you should take. So tukatoka, and then we went back. Now we were to come for checkup, and then thyroid function test again, so that tuone levels iko aje. So the next test clinic that we went, I think it was like after a week. Kuja now he came back now to hypo, which is a bit manageable than it's better than managing hyper. We thank God. Right now in the journey for hypo, it's also another journey, because now hyper you lose weight, hypo you gain weight, and also there's aspect of diet also involved in hypo. That is a journey we are currently. It's still a journey that you have to take medicine. Like for hypo now it's different. We have to have a timer. He wakes up early in the morning, like 5 in the morning, akunywe dawa on an empty stomach. So that like after an hour we can be able to kunywa breakfast, the rest we go for work. So it's still a journey. Ensuring that the diet and everything, we still on the diet and everything, but I thank God the side effects zenye alikuwa nazo zilisha. Let me tell you, kuna vitu zilisha immediately. Even kuna vitu zilisha immediately after diagnosed na hyperthyroid, like the bloating of the stomach. Wakati alianza ku take the medicine for hyperthyroid, zilisha immediately.
Hiyo kubloat
ilisha immediately. And then on the surgery, there was that part of his leg from here, just below the knee, na above the ankle, it was black, na ilikuwa na ukishika unasikia ni kama there are things zimefura huko ndani, na iko black kabisa. Zilikuwa zimefura vitu za black, black kabisa. Hata tukajaribu kuenda hospitali tuonekana ni clot. I remember there's a test there's a scan alifanywa tuonekana ni test ni clot ama anything iko hapo, tukaambiwa nothing. But it weirdly after the thyroid surgery ilipotea. But now because ilipotea, better part ikabaki kidogo, ambao we managed it with wearing that socks ya kuifinyilia. Haizi kaambila kama hajavaa that socks. Let me tell you, the things involved in treatment for thyroid, they are very dynamic. Like hiyo socks lazima avae, and hiyo socks peke yake hivi apea it's 8,000. Yes.
Ni socks ina gani hiyo?
Ni socks kama zenye zinavaliangwa na watu wenye wako na clot, za kuzuia clot isipande. To him now is to suppress hizo nini zizikue mingi, because ni kitu imefura, ukishika unasikia imefura na ni ya black. So what we were told by the doctor, the excess hormones zenye alikuwa na produce, they look for a week. So hiyo mguu yake, that part ilienda karibu na joint, zinakaa karibu na joint. Mali zilienda kukaa, hiyo joint yake ilikuwa loose, and apparently hiyo ndio mguu thyroid. I don't know. There's a time mtu akitembea during that thyroid akiwa msick, akikunywa hizo dawa. There's a time alikuwa anatembea akatwist mguu. Na ilikuwa serious because he stayed like 2 months kwa nyumba hizi akiwa amewekwa hiyo nini, that shoe. And that hiyo ndio mguu sasa, hizo nini, those hormones zilienda kukaa hapo na zika make some, yani ukiangalia it looked weird. Let me tell you, kama zi maombi za zingine unaweza sema, kama uamini Mungu unaweza sema hapa kuna kitu. Yes. Because of the kind of side effects of thyroid. But I thank God we are still on the journey. It's a journey that needs a lot of prayers. It's a journey that needs a lot of understanding. At some point utafika kwa nyumba, you're overwhelmed. As a wife, you're overwhelmed. As a working mother, you're overwhelmed. Kuna kids, you have a husband, you have to be strong for everyone. One thing I thank God in that grace to be. I remember there's a time during that period, let me take you back. During that period yenye alikuwa ame give up kabisa. Tumeona daktari, everything was not working out, nothing. We don't know what you were sick. The time alikujanga akanipea we already have educator plans for our kids that current was running since my son alipozaliwa, but he went akachukua ingine na akalipa for 6 months. So later after the surgery na at least Asha regained hope na everything, ndio aliniambia hiyo nilikuwa nimechukua juu nilikuwa naona I will not make it. I will not, alikuwa naona I will not make it past 2020. Aliniambia aliona tu hapana, let me just make sure my family is okay. Alikuja akanipa everything, akaniambia nimelipia watoto insurance. Kama why have you taken? Ananiambia usijali, ni vizuri hata tukue na mingi. Yeah. So after there, it's still a journey for hypothyroid, being hypo. We are taking medicine, but we thank God so far, and that's where we are.
I'm looking at you and I'm seeing such an amazing woman, strong. And even as we wind up, I want to say that I want to appreciate everybody that is always there to support caregivers. Because once you know somebody that has a thyroid condition, then you're a caregiver. Thank you very much, Lydia, for sharing your story and your journey, you and Alan. And we ask you to subscribe so that you can continue getting some of these very inspiring stories. More to come. Subscribe, like, hit the notification button, and we'll be back with more. See you on the next episode. I'm your host, Sarah Katule. We'll see you the next time.